Hello, Tracy here, also known as MercyTiara. I am doing a scrap room reorganization project, and I'm just sharing different parts of it with you as part of a series here on my channel. If you've missed the first video in this series, I will link it in a card in the top right-hand corner. Please check that out. It shows my before and what was wrong with my room and why it wasn't working for me. One of the first things that I did was I ordered these acrylic storage units from Amazon. I have 2 sets of them, but in this video, only one of them has arrived. So this set, I will show you the image right here of what it looks like on Amazon so that you can check it out for yourself. I found it a little bit overpriced, but I really wanted to have this look, this clear look where I can see through these drawers and see what's in them, but also have it very tidy and stacked on top of each other was the main appeal was that these items stack. So I have a marker unit that's on my wall that I'm trying to get empty so that I can take it off of my wall. So I'm starting by taking all of my markers and pens that are my commonly used ones and fitting them into these containers. It's becoming clear to me that if I were to put all of my Crayola super tip markers in this, it's going to take up 3 full drawers, as you can see, and I'm not sure that I want to take up 3 drawers in that way. So what I'm ending up doing here is I'm actually going to bring those over to, I have another one of these same marker units, like the one that's on the wall. I have another one on the other side of my scrap room. You will see it if you watch my tour. And I'm also going to come back to that in my process of reorganizing my room. So I'm just moving all of those super tips over to there. And I'm going to use these drawers for something else. My thinking here is that those super tips, I have the really big package of the super tips, and I only use a handful of them. The ones that I use are actually in a separate little cubby. It's actually the one in the bottom and closest to the camera right now. You can see some of them sticking out there. Those are the ones that I use the most. There's maybe 10 of them. And so I will put those in one of these drawers, but all of those hundreds of colors, I really don't need all of those close to me. So I'm going to keep those in another place. Now, in the meantime, I am taking down all of my Jelly Roll pens. These pens I recently reviewed on my Patreon in a behind the scenes video on Patreon. I had a few requests. And so I realized that I have a bunch of different kinds of these Jelly Roll pens. And I have some of the regular ones, I have some of the glaze and souffle ones, and I have some metallic and some specialty ones as well. So I'm just sorting them into piles in these little bins. They end up being drawers. And I'm putting all of the glaze and soufflés together because they have a bit of dimension to them. And then I'm putting all of the regular ones together. And then I'm putting all of the metallic or sparkly ones together in the center little cubby there. And I just keep on taking out handfuls of them and organizing them. It's becoming clear to me that one of these drawers is going to be more full than the other ones. And so I'm going to have to reorganize how I do this. What I ended up doing was, I'm going to have to take these out, and what I'm going to do is actually test each of them and make sure that they're working, and there's a few that are not working. Now, you do need to be patient with Jelly Rolls because even if it seems like they're not working, you can often get them to come back to life. But if I have any that seem like they're just not going to come back to life, there were a few that it was pretty clear to me that they were actually dried up. And so what I've decided to do is just toss those instead of trying to fuss with them. Because if I have to fuss with them now, then I'll have to fuss with them when I'm scrapbooking, and I'm not going to want to do that. I just know myself enough to know that. So I am trying out each of them on a little pad of paper that I have here. And I'm also chunking them according to the type of marker that they are, because I have metallics and I have glitters, and those basically look the same. But I also have another kind, they're called shadow, and they make like a silver mark with a colored outline on them. So I took all my shadow, those are the ones in the bottom of that, and I'm going to add the shadow to the regular ones just because that was a grouping that made sense so that they would all fit. And I can easily tell the difference between the regular ones because they just have regular lids on them, and the shadow ones have a clear lid with a little colored part on it. So that's going to make it really easy for me to find the shadow ones amongst the other ones. Whereas when I had the shadows in with the glitters, not only did that make that drawer too full, but also it was sort of hard to tell which ones were glitter pens and which ones were the shadow pens. So now I'll know the shadows are in with the regulars. So there were a few pens there that I couldn't get working, and I've decided to give up on them. If I was really heartbroken about it, I might have been able to be really persistent and gotten some of them to work, but I've decided to just let them go. Now I have my super tips out. So these are a few of my super tips that I use in my planner. They're just Crayola. They're very inexpensive, but I do like those shades. I have a few more of the super tips that I like to use that were in this other cubby. So I'm going to put those all together. And basically in this little drawer, my super tips that I love and also any of my mild liners will also go in there. I have some zebra mild liners that I also use in my planners. Now, some of these pens do not fit in these drawers. Any of the longer pens, including those zig dot pens. They have a marker on one end and a dot dauber type of thing on the other end. Those don't fit, so I'm going to have to find another home for those. They're too long. Now, these are all of my permanent markers, so these would be Slick Surface Writers, so all of my Sharpies, and I have a few Bic Slick Surface markers and Lumo Color by Stettler as well, so that drawer is super full as well, as you can tell. Now, I've decided to throw away all of my American Crafts Slick Writers. I don't even know if they still make Slick Writers, but they used to a while ago, and they were really not very good markers. So I'm just going to throw those ones away. I don't need to keep them. Now I'm putting my Stettler markers in one and my other. So what I'm going through now is actually all of my main black markers that I love. As you can see, I've got a lot of main black markers that I love, and I do have some colored markers in there too. So I'm just, I am organizing them so that the colors are in one of these drawers and the black ones are in another drawer, along with a couple of mechanical pencils because I like to have those at my fingertips too. Actually, I think that drawer that is the closest to the camera right now, off to the side right in front of my Boon organizer, that's just my favorite. So it has the indanthrene blue, my Sharpie pen, and a few others that I really like, as well as my mechanical pencil. And then the other ones are just organized, and I can show you, I will be showing you a tour of the whole completed project once everything is in its home and my room is working better for me. So I'll be able to tell you exactly how I have these organized when I go through a bit of a tour. I'm going to put on some music so you can just watch, but one of the things you will see me organize in a few minutes is my dry erase markers. I do need those for my job, so I need to have those close at hand as well.
I know it's nothing new, but it's so good to see you. We do this every day, and I'm still so amazed by you. So hold me tight through the night. It's just us two, me and you. Oh, I can't believe stay every single day. Yeah. So hold me tight through the night. It's just us two, me and you. Oh, I can't believe you love me.
So it is another day, and I am taking down some of the supplies that were in the Making Memories Embellishment Center that's on the wall behind my computer. And I have put them all into this Apple Watch container. It's just the top lid of the old containers that Apple Watches used to come in. And I did watch a video about cleaning and kind of like reviving your Nuvo Crystal drops. I used to store all of my stickles and Nuvo Crystal drops upside down. And when I did that, I never had any trouble with them. But every time I use them these days, they're clogged. They don't seem to work. My Nuvo Crystal drops in particular are all separated. And some of that could be because I started storing them right side up. And some of it also could have been that my old lights that used to be my video lights, they were very hot, and my new lights don't get hot anymore. So I suspect that because they were stored so close to those lights that the heat might have affected them. So they're just separated. So I thought that what I would do is, first of all, put them all in this box because they seem to fit. So this was just an Apple Watch box that I had hanging around. Karma's here helping me with this task. And second of all, I'm going to test each one of them because my thought is that none of them work. Most of them don't work. But what I'm going to find by actually doing this is that most of them actually do work. I thought that a lot of them were like past their expiration date. I don't know if they have expiration dates, but I felt like most of them were just beyond helping. But it turns out I'm able to get every single one of them going again. So I thought I would include this process. So I watched a video and it did suggest that you soak them in warm water, not hot water, but warm water. So I'm doing that. I have this thing of warm water out, but it turns out I don't think I really needed to do that. So you'll see me abandon that about halfway through. I went to get a safety pin because the little tips are really clogged in a lot of these. I'm going to change my camera because this is not a great way for you to watch me do this process, but I thought I would start it that way anyways. So I have a safety pin here that I'm just using to push the dried out product out of the hole in the end. And then while I'm at it, I'm just trying to really clean it up and get any of the other dried out product that might be in the area that leads up to the nozzle also out, and just get it all so that it's flowing quite nicely. As you can see, that gold one is flowing quite nicely now. I'm just going to move things around to get a better workflow going. And this one also needs to be cleared. And it turns out that a lot of them are going to need to be cleared, but not every single one of them. This one doesn't need to be mixed or soaked. So anyone that needs to be that seems to be separated, I'm just putting into the warm water. Now what I'm finding here is that the warm water is very quickly becoming cold water. And so it's not really a strategy that's really going to help. But anyhow, what works better is just mixing it with this stick. I just have this skewer here. And to avoid needing to use a whole bunch of skewers, I'm just going to clean the skewer between each go with a piece of paper towel. And so each of these, the process ends up being open it up, mix it up if it needs to be mixed up. Then I clean the skewer and then I clear the nozzle. And that's just what I'm doing with each and every one of them. This one seems to be working fine. This one is also working fine. Meanwhile, those other two over there are soaking in the warm water. Really, my experience tells me that I don't think you really need to do this soaking it in warm water step, but I didn't know that until I went to do it. So all of those ones seem to be working. And what I'm doing is as I go through them, once I've confirmed and cleaned it up and put it back in the case, I'm putting it back in upside down so that I know which ones I've already done. So there, that one is now working. And having stirred some up that were not soaking and stirred some up that were soaking, that's how I'm coming to the conclusion that I don't think I need to soak these. Just stirring them up is the main thing. So it seems like some clear or bluey colored part of this product seems to rise to the top for me anyways. And I don't know if that's because they were old or if it's, as I said, because they were close to that source of heat. But I will just clear these through, and there's how it looks, right? So you can see that the product is just, I poke it through and I can just pull it off, and there's more. And so sometimes, like with this one, I have to really push that needle in and out and really scrape the edges of the nozzle. So what I've done here is two things. I replaced my little tray of water with a cup of hot water, and I'm also using my coffee warmer so that this water will stay warm. And I'm really just using this cup of water more for soaking the nozzles than I am for soaking the actual containers. So it's a little bit off screen, but I think that you get the gist of it. So once I've done all of them, this is the last one that I'm doing here. You can see my cup of water is pretty nasty there. Whoops. Now I'm going to take them all out. I'm just showing you that it was an Apple Watch box in case I had forgotten to tell you. I'm taking them all out so that I can now organize them by rainbow color order. And it is a little bit tricky to do this because they all, once you take more than one or two out, they all want to just lie down on their sides. So I'm thinking as I do this, that when I go to use these, I'm going to have to just be mindful of that. Now, we did a magical little switcheroo where now I have my stickles. My stickles have always been in this box. Well, not always. They used to be all set out on my Making Memories embellishment center because I really liked how they looked. They were really pretty. But recently, I decided to stop storing them that way because I couldn't do them upside down without having them in a container like this that will hold them all together. So recently, I put them all in this container. And this is just a wooden pull-out tray that goes in an old Making Memories, but an old Recollections Jetmax cube. I have those white Jetmax cubes all over my room, and I used to have a whole lot of them, and this was just one part of one of those. Now, the stickles, I'm really pleased that so many of them end up being okay. It turns out I can keep all of them. So the stickles nozzle comes out with a little bit more difficulty than the Nuvo Crystal Drops. So I do need a tool with me. So I have these little pliers that I'm going to use. Some of them are working right off the bat, and I'm so impressed because I tried a lot of these and none of them were working. So I don't know if maybe storing them on upside down has made a big difference, but look at that. Almost all of them are working just on the first try. When they don't work, I just pull the nozzle out like this, and then I use my safety pin, and sometimes I can't even get my safety pin through it. And if that's the case, I'll just soak it in the cup of water beside me, that warm cup of water beside me. But in this case, I was able to get it going, and so then I can just put it through. So this is just what I'm considering my refresh stage for these products, just because I don't want to find a home for something that doesn't work. Like if this product is not able to be revitalized, which it turns out it is, I want to be able to get rid of it at this point. But since they can be revitalized, I'm happy to just refresh them all. So that's what I did with all of them. I just cut out some of the footage because I didn't think you needed to watch me do every single one of them. Now I'm just going to try to change the order of these so that they're arranged by rainbow order, which is tricky because obviously they all fall over if you take out too many of them. And I'm just trying to shift them all around. So you can watch that as well with some music.
I know it's nothing new, but it's so good to see you. We do this every day, and I'm still so amazed by you. So hold me tight through the night.
Okay, so things have changed in some ways, and in some ways they're still the same, but I'm making fairly good progress. I'm feeling good about my space. I can't remember what I've filmed and what I haven't filmed, so I will just do a little summary right now. This space here used to have my letter stamps and my 6x8 stamps right there. Those stamps are now down here in this part of my Raskog. So these are my 6x8 stamps that were off to the side on the side of this cabinet right over here. And then this is the same clear container that was holding my alphabet stamps all along. These things are still here. They were always there in the back of this. So where is the stuff that was there? Well, the stuff that was there was a tray of themed Project Life cards from Allie Edwards story kits and from Kelly Perky kits. And they were all lined up and in little sandwich baggies to hold them together. Those things are right over there in the bottom box. So I had two of those close to my heart boxes. One of them had my washi tape in it, still does, and the other one was empty. I put those Kelly Perky and Allie Edwards Project Life kits right in those. They fit perfectly in those medium close to my heart boxes. So that's where those things went, and the tray that they were in is still right over there. So I still have that. I might use it elsewhere in my room. This thing right here, and that's my teleprompter that we talked about before. That unit used to be right here, and my switch was on it. No, my switch was on, oh right, this drawer here was on its side, and it was right where that Boone organizer is right now. So that was on its side, and then that bigger unit right there was right against this wall. And I've also moved my desk so that it comes closer to the wall. It comes almost all the way to the wall, which was keeping me from being able to really use this space because there was just air there, so I couldn't use the space. Now that has caused me a problem over here because my desk is no longer long enough to go all the way, but that's okay. I can move this in, and I think I'm also going to move this over a little bit. I did tidy up my cords here a little bit, but that's not my permanent solution. I'm still working on that. I'm still working on getting this Rodecaster mounted. See this thing right here? This is a holder, but it's not strong enough to hold my Rodecaster. I would like to get this up and in the air because I don't use it very often. I can keep it pushed way back, but I'm going to need a fairly high-end arm in order to do that. So I'll have to take a look at my budget and see what I can do about that. But that will be a good investment because then my Mac Studio is right there, and I could put some decor on it. I could put a little like something, like it's flat, so you can put things on it. I don't want it to be terribly cluttered, but it will either look nice and clean with nothing on it, or it might have a little decor on it, which would be simple and beautiful. So I'm happy about that. This area here that used to have my Boone organizer, which is right here now, this I just came from Amazon, as well as these two pieces right here that my switch is on. So I was able to remove the sideways drawer that used to hold my switch, and it was over there, moved it here, replaced it with those. I do need to fill those drawers with, and I know what's going in those. I put all of my pens into drawers. I'm pretty sure I did a video about that. And I'm not sure if I did a video where I put these things in this drawer, but they used to be in here. And now this drawer has all of these tools right at my right-hand side, which is exactly where I need them to be, so that I don't have to reach everywhere and go looking for them. It's very important to me that these drawers do not get overcrowded, and so having just a few things in each one of them is exactly the way that I want it to be. So this I'm pleased with. I think that this will work for me. I will find out in this weekend, tomorrow, when I scrapbook for the first time with this new change. I have left these embellishments here, although I did put my MTK sequins in these little containers. And yeah, so for now, this drawer is almost exactly the same way that it was before. I just rejigged these little containers around a little bit so that they work for me. This area here, which used to have those letter stamps, I think I'm going to go get the shelf that belongs between there. There's also a small little shelf that can run in there. I think I will get both of those shelves because it's nice to have that definition, especially since I don't have a reason to not have that shelf there. So I'm going to put that shelf in there. It'll just look more finished with it in place. And then I think I'm going to put some of my very favorite punches that I don't want to have to always go across the room to get for my Raskog. I'll put some of my very favorite punches there. They're already starting to be there. That means I will not be putting them on this hanger thing. This hanger thing holds this long cord for the camera that I'm using right now wrapped up there so that when the camera, usually the camera sits right there and points that way. So that way the cord is taken care of and I can pull it out when I need it to do something like what I'm doing right now. The top shelf there will either hold more punches, or I'm thinking about bringing down some of this. This is where I keep my mixed media and my stamp chamois and those sorts of things, and putting them maybe in baskets or bins or something on that shelf. But first I have to find the shelf, right? So that is mostly where I'm at right now. I think that's most of what I changed in the room. There's still a lot of changes to come. So the next thing that I need to do is, because there's going to be changes up here and I have all of these pens, they need to come out and they will go into that unit right there that is not full. So I will put music on for this part, but this is me figuring out how my markers are going to go into these drawers. And spoiler alert, there are way too many super tip markers here for me to put into these drawers, and I don't even use them all. So you'll see that I end up putting a bunch of them in a different place. I think I'm actually going to donate them someplace.
I know it's nothing new, but it's so good to see you. We do this every day, and I'm still so amazed by you. So hold me tight through the night. It's just us two, me and you. I can't believe you love me. I just feel so lucky. Still can't believe you love me. I hope it never ends, this being more than friends, yeah. You know I'm here to stay every single day, yeah. So hold me tight through the night.
So as you can see, some things have changed in my room, some pretty major changes, some of which I have been waiting for a very long time have taken place. So I will show you that. First of all, you'll notice that my Rodecaster Duo that used to be right there is gone. There's some cord issues here that I'll be addressing, so just don't mind that. That's not complete. But my Rodecaster Duo is mounted right there, and I'll show you how it works. So if I need to use it, I can pull it out, I can twist it, bring it down, I can bring it quite a bit forward if I need to. So if I ever needed to use it, I could move it to right here. I don't use it very often, so I keep it tucked back here right above my switch, and I like to just keep it high enough that I can bring my switch in and out. I use my switch for exercise, so I do kind of take it in and out of its dock quite a bit. And one thing that I love is that as long as I'm not moving my Rodecaster Duo around too much, I can keep my trimmer right here, which was my goal, was to be able to keep my trimmer on top of this. I used to keep it on top of the cubbies that were right here, and so this works really, really well for me. I know that I enjoy having my trimmer right there. The camera that you're looking at me from right now, it's usually right there, and it needs all of that space. For a little while, I had room for a coffee cup here, and I really liked that, but in order to have room for that arm to do what it needs to do, everything had to move this way a little bit. And so I lost my room for my coffee cup. So I just keep my coffee cup here now when I need to. I do have a coffee cup warmer that I can just put right here when I need it. And then I just stick it back into this thing when I don't need it. This thing continues to serve as a place where mostly it's for holding my Stream Deck. I need to be able to reach this, but I also need to be able to, I need to be able to reach it while I'm live streaming, to just press these buttons while I'm sitting here. So clearly I can reach them from where I'm sitting, but also I need to be able to pull it out and put it on my desk here when I'm editing videos, because I use it a lot for editing videos as well. So it has to serve those two purposes. So it does need to be able to move in order to suit me. These drawers, I will just show you what's in them. In this one, we have everything that was fabric that was in one of those little trays in this drawer right here. That now I already showed you, it serves a different purpose now. So little like patches and anything that's fabric-y is in here. This is where all of my acrylic pieces and rubber pieces are. I used to have them separated out, but now they're all in one. My bows, which used to be in one of those little white trays in that drawer right there, my bows are all in here now. They're very pretty, so it's nice to see these things like this. This is all round stuff, so it's mostly flare badges, but also just other random metal things, and because it's clear, I feel like I'll be able to reach it and remember that they're here. My whiteboard markers that I need for work are right here, and my resin pieces and cork is in the back of this one. So the rest are all markers that you saw me sorting, but just to show you what ended up being in these. This is my favorites. So my pencil, my Jelly Roll 10, Sharpie markers, Sharpie pens, my Indanthrene blue marker, all of those sorts of things are all here. This is all Slick Surface Writers. These are mostly all Faber-Castell Pitt pens in various colors and tips. This is various black journaling markers, so gel pens and Faber-Castell Pitt pens. This is random journaling pens that don't fit anywhere else. These are Jelly Roll regular pens. These are Jelly Roll metallics and the sparkly ones. I think they're called Stardust. And these are Soufflé and Glaze. And the shadow ones are in with the regular ones. These are any brush tip markers that I could use for script lettering if I ever decided to do that again. And then these are just my very favorite Crayola Super Tips. The ones that I kept were just my very favorite shades, and also my mild liners are in there as well. Over here we have some of these Tri Plus fine liner markers from Stettler. I love Stettler markers as well. I've got water brushes and misters right here. We've got white markers and pencils here. We've got those Archer and Olive pens that I don't really like very much are in the very, very end. And now I only have one Boon organizer instead of two. I used to have two right beside each other, and I have my most essential tools are right here. And I also have essential tools right in here that I think I showed already in another video, but I've used this a few times now and it really works. I'm enjoying having my tools over there. It took a little bit of getting used to, but now that I'm used to it, it's good. A fairly big new acquisition is this teleprompter, which I use for my therapy sessions so that I can make eye contact with my clients, because they show up in this screen right here and the camera is right behind that. So I can look right at them and also be looking at the camera at the same time. This is an item that I wanted for a long time, and it wasn't available to buy in Canada until recently. And also I had to save up some money to get that, but I'm really loving it. I don't really use it for, like, I don't usually script any of my videos, so I don't use it for my YouTube, although I might at some point. But I do find it really handy having an extra screen up there because I can drag anything up there. Right now, my therapy window is open there, but I can put like Discord up there, and that way I can always have Discord open, and even as I'm working, if a message comes in, I can tend to it right away because I chat with my tiaras over there quite often from Patreon. As you can see, my Making Memories embellishment center is quite a bit different now as well. I have my stickles in that container right there where they were in the last video, and my Nuvo drops are in the watch box above that. But I just left the edges that you can see just decorated fairly minimally. I wanted to have a place to put my, can you see that? Yeah. I wanted to have a place to put my Crop and Create name tag that I use every single year. I just kind of use the same pocket. And every year that I go to it, I buy a different Doodlebug Designs pin. Some years I bought a couple, and yeah, so I haven't gone to Crop and Create that many years, but I try to get one every year I go. And of course, I haven't gone since 2020. No, since 2022, I think, was the last one that they had in Moncton. Then I have some decorative items here and just some IKEA plants for decorations and a candle. And these are some wooden stamps from my friend in Germany. And the girls also got me some wooden stamps in Germany. I keep my 2 printers right there. And that is that. So my desktop is quite a bit more functional than it used to be. I'm really pleased with it so far. And now I'm moving on to talk about my stamps. So keep an eye out on my channel for discussion of my stamps in this Raskog here, which have changed very slightly, and my dies that are over on my pegboard now. Thanks so much for watching this video. If you would like to chat with me in Discord like these folks do, check out my Patreon, and also check out these other places where you can reach me. That's all for now. Take care and have a really great scrappy week. Please tell me I was recording that. I was not. I was. Oh, good.
I know it's nothing new, but it's so good to see you. We do this every day, and I'm still so amazed by you.